Regulation should be a good issue for Democrats. It's certainly one they're associated with. And I think the average voter would agree that banks and chemical plants and drug companies need watching. Telling a company, you can't dump the waste from your hog farm straight into the water supply. We're mostly all for that. But Democrats have become a parody of themselves, just making rules to make rules because it makes you feel like you're a better person. Making sure that everything bad never happens again, which you can never fully do. It just makes everyone else's life a drag. The Biden infrastructure bill has a provision that requires all new cars to install an alert system that goes off when you leave a baby in the back seat, which is something done only by crackheads and people who sadly, yes, do it on purpose. And after every one of us winds up bearing the cost for cars to install this alarm, you know who's going to ignore it? Crackheads and people who do it on purpose.
BillMaher just weighed in on the media circus, and it was explosive. A dyed-in-the-wool leftist, Maher went after the woke crowd for dodging real debates with centrists and conservatives. And believe me, it was brutal. So, let's get right into it.
The right-wingers say what you want about them, but they talk to you. They're not into this leftist think that the left really has much more of a, I don't talk to you, I don't want to deal with you, you're deplorable, I can't break bread with you. Yeah. That attitude, and like all the right-wingers, they don't have that attitude. No, again, I didn't vote for them.
BillMaher just delivered a blunt reality check, and it looks like he's drifting closer to the center. 4 years, Maher has been a consistent voice on the left, but even he can't turn a blind eye anymore. He argues that today's left has abandoned genuine debate, choosing instead to hide in safe bubbles and echo chambers, cut off from reality. Maher's frustration is palpable. How can progress happen if one side refuses to even hear opposing arguments? It's a wake-up call the left badly needs, but keeps ignoring.
Sat here, he's a human being. He's not a monster.
And a husband and a father.
Yes, and I liked him. I liked them all. They're all nice people when you meet them in person, and they're not as crazy as they would. Nobody's as crazy as they make them out to be.
And that, according to Maher, is the biggest problem with today's left, the instant demonization of anyone who dares to disagree. Challenge their policies. You're a monster. Question the narrative. Suddenly, you're a dictator. Push back even slightly. Congratulations, you're a fascist. This knee-jerk labeling doesn't just shut down conversation, it poisons it. Rather than engaging in genuine debate, the left reduces opponents to caricatures, making them easier to vilify. The result? The right becomes an open target for cheap name-calling and unhinged attacks from those unwilling to face real dialogue.
Enough. Having just had a birthday and being 66, please don't ask me to start doing grown-up things like run for president. A few weeks ago, Fox News' Dana Perino, a former Bush press secretary, suggested that the Democrats should recruit me to run for president, which is kind of special because it means that in the space of 20 years, Bush press secretaries have gone from telling me I need to watch what I say.
They need to watch what they say, watch what they do, and this is not a time for remarks like that. There never is.
They've gone from that to wondering if I should run for president.
It'll be interesting to see if BillMaher is recruited to run for the presidency.
BillMaher may never say it outright, but many of his views already overlap with right-leaning ideology. Yes, he still identifies as a liberal, but his critiques of cancel culture, woke extremism, and the left's growing intolerance resonate far more with conservatives than progressives. That's why some commentators and journalists have begun speculating about what a Maher run for office might look like, potentially even under a Republican banner. Imagine that, a lifelong liberal embraced as a political weapon by the very side he once spent years sparring with.
Many flaws, but you can't accuse me of maturing. Let's get this straight. It's not me who's changed. It's the left, who is now made up of a small contingent who've gone mental and a large contingent who refuse to call them out for it. But I will. That's why I'm a hero at Fox these days.
The purpose of life is to mature, evolve, and gain wisdom. Along the way, we all hold beliefs that eventually stop making sense as experience reshapes our perspective, and that's perfectly normal. Growth means adapting, questioning ourselves, and grounding our views in common sense. But here's the problem. The modern left seems stuck in place. Instead of evolving, they cling to rigid, outdated, and often anti-common sense ideals. Worse, they refuse to engage with voices outside their bubble or concede even an inch, while the rest of us continue to grow sharper and wiser.
Shows just how much liberals have their head up their ass, because if they really thought about it, they would have made me a hero on their media. But that can't happen in this ridiculous new era of mind-numbing partisanship, where if I keep it real about the nonsense in the Democratic Party, it makes me an instant hero to Republicans. The same thing happened in reverse to Darth Vader's daughter, Liz Cheney, who is now a hero to liberals simply because she recognizes Biden did not steal the last election. What a sad commentary.
It's almost laughable how allergic today's liberals are to criticism. The moment you dare hold up a mirror to their flaws, there's no reflection, only outrage. They cut you off as if you've committed a crime. Just ask BillMaher. For decades, he was one of their loudest voices, proudly waving the progressive flag. But the instant he began challenging their sacred woke ideologies, he went from hero to public enemy number one. That's the left's playbook. Worship you when you comply, crucify you when you question. So much for tolerance and open-mindedness.
Simply acknowledging reality is now seen as a profile in courage. People sometimes say to me, you didn't used to make fun of the left as much. Yeah, because they didn't give me so much to work with. The oath of office I took was to comedy. And if you do goofy shit, wherever you are on the spectrum, I'm going to make fun of you because that's where the gold is. And the fact that they are laughing at it should tell you something. It rings true.
The left loves to brand itself as the party of sanity, but let's be real, those days are long gone. At this point, raw insanity feels more refreshing than the circus they're running. Just look around. Shouting matches masquerading as debates, endless purity tests, and a cancel culture so ruthless it devours its own faster than piranhas. The best part? A few brave leftists are finally whispering what the rest of us already know, that the movement has gone completely toxic. Even Gavin Newsom, California's progressive golden boy, has admitted as much. The left doesn't just need reform, it needs a deep scrub, a detox, maybe even an exorcism. When your own poster children are begging for sanitizing wipes, you know the rot has gone too far. But don't worry, they'll still lecture the rest of us on morality while drowning in their own mess.
Normal people read that San Francisco has basically legalized shoplifting. They think Democrats have gone nuts. They think, that Ted Cruz guy seems like a real stiff. But at least he believes in the concept of shopping with money.
Democrats seem to have a peculiar talent. If something is abnormal, destructive, or downright disturbing, they'll find a way to legalize it, normalize it, and parade it as progress. Take shoplifting, for example. In city after city, penalties have been watered down so much that thieves can walk out of stores with armfuls of goods while hardworking business owners are left powerless. Then there's homelessness. Instead of addressing the crisis, Democrats repackage it as compassion, turning sidewalks into tent cities and calling decay a virtue. And with it comes the inevitable, streets littered with needles, trash, and human waste, all under the banner of tolerance. Ordinary Americans are expected to applaud this chaos as noble, when in reality it's the collapse of common sense. Democrats don't solve problems. They rebrand disasters as justice and dare you to disagree.
It's not my fault that the party of FDR and JFK is turning into the party of LOL and WTF. Members of Congress tweeting things like cancel rent, cancel mortgage, and no more policing or incarceration, declaring that capitalism is slavery, canceling Lincoln and Dr. Seuss, teaching children they're oppressors and math is racist, making Mr. Potato Head gender neutral, and now an emoji for pregnant men. Real, I'm not making it up.
The Democrats have turned themselves into every comedian's dream punchline, and frankly, they've earned it. Their policies are so ridiculous, it's as if they're writing material for late-night monologues themselves. Take their genius idea of defunding the police. Because nothing says progress like gutting law enforcement while crime surges. Who needs safety, right? Let's just roll out the red carpet for chaos and watch the country spiral into a scene straight out of Mad Max. Then there's their prized cancel culture, the crown jewel of their madness. Marketed as justice, it's really nothing more than a witch hunt that's destroyed careers, silenced voices, and turned social media into a digital firing squad. The damage is incalculable. Yet Democrats parade it around as if it's some noble cause. At this point, they don't even need comedians to roast them. They've perfected the art of self-parody.
California just passed a law requiring large retailers to have a non-gendered toy section. A non-gendered toy section? Isn't Ken enough? We need a law for that? You have to inject yourselves into everything, from where you can throw a frisbee to who can braid hair? This is why so many people, by the way, were triggered by COVID policies. They were already sick of rules. Regulation.
If California has mastered anything, it's overregulation. This state doesn't just govern, it micromanages every detail of your life. Want to start a business? Prepare to drown in a mountain of permits, licenses, and red tape that would make the IRS look efficient. Want to drive your car? Better hope it passes the ever-shifting emissions standards dreamed up by bureaucrats who've probably never picked up a wrench. And housing. Even putting a roof over your head is buried under endless codes, zoning laws, and regulations that send costs skyrocketing. That's why building anything in California requires years of paperwork and a fortune in fees, if approval ever comes at all. Sacramento doesn't just stick its nose into everything, it crams in its entire head. And yet they wonder why people are fleeing the state in droves.
The Biden infrastructure bill has a provision that requires all new cars to install an alert system that goes off when you leave a baby in the back seat, which is something done only by crackheads and people who sadly, yes, do it on purpose. And after every one of us winds up bearing the cost for cars to install this alarm, you know who's going to ignore it? Crackheads and people who do it on purpose.
At the end of the day, BillMaher has become something the
modern left can't handle honest. He's unafraid to call out hypocrisy, even when it means turning on his own side. And that's why his words cut so deep. Maher reminds us that real growth comes from questioning ourselves, evolving our beliefs, and engaging in genuine debate, not from hiding in echo chambers or slapping labels on anyone who disagrees. He's exposed the absurdity of trying to build a better society by stacking rule upon rule, suffocating creativity, and silencing voices. Whether he admits it or not, Maher now resonates more with the center, and even the right, than with the rigid left he once championed. And maybe that's the ultimate irony. A man once celebrated as a liberal icon now stands as proof that common sense transcends political labels. That wraps up today's video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more fiery commentary. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.